I will say this. So again, last week I think it was, we talked about the China trade war and Trump's tariffs, and about the fact that a lot of Chinese factories are moving their production outside of China to avoid all those tariffs, moving into places like the Philippines primarily, and Africa and places like that, to avoid all those tariffs. So that's kind of cool. So by sourcing directly from India, of course, you're going to avoid all of those trade tariffs that are happening currently between Mr. Trump and Mr. Li Jinping. Is that the guy's name? Jinping? So you're going to avoid all that anyway. So that's great in and of itself to do that. I would say that India, as a place for sourcing, does some things really, really well, and other things not so well. So here's the things that they do really, really well. India is amazing for handmade products. For products that are handmade, they are pretty much unbeatable. So if you've got a product that you want to get put together and it's a little bit left of center, or your Chinese supplier says we can't do that for you, then just know you can source. It will be relatively a painless process to source that product from India, because that's what they are geared up for. They do that incredibly well. Also things like natural fibers, like cottons and silks and leather goods, they do amazingly well. I would say they're world class at doing those. Very difficult to beat them, certainly for the price points that they can do that sort of stuff for as well. So if you wanted to get anything in those things where there's natural fibers involved, India is definitely the place to go to. The problems I have found with those is consistency. So typically China is very, very good at knocking out a consistent product. Now, whether or not the quality of that product is high is another thing, but as far as all the products being the same, so either they're all crap, so like McDonald's doesn't do great hamburgers, but their hamburgers are consistently the same, consistently crap. It's that kind of thing. Same for China with regards to production. India, however, there is a lot more inconsistency in the products, something for you to be mindful of. But then again, if you're selling handmade, you actually do get a lot more latitude with that, and you can kind of tie it into the handmade story that, you know, not everything's going to be the same, and this is a unique design just for you. It also, by the way, enables you to charge more as well, which we like. So you get that as a kind of plus side. India, the business language in India is English, so everybody who does business in India speaks English, unlike China, where if you speak to somebody in China and they speak English to you, chances are you're talking to a middleman. If you speak to somebody in India and they speak English to you, chances are you're talking to the owner of the factory, who will be very, very happy to talk to you and talk to you in English. So there's that. That's kind of cool. Let me give you a website that I like. I will say as well that just like in China, where you've got Guangxi, in India, relationships are incredibly important, and I make a habit of sending all of my suppliers a little gift at Christmas times, at their Christmas times, not just at my Christmas times, at their Christmas times. That goes a long way. Little Australiana thing goes a long way to building up goodwill later on down the track when you need it, when you're in the shit and you need help. That goes a long way towards getting that. This website, India Mart, is kind of like Alibaba for Indian suppliers. Very, very good. This is where I get not all, but 90% of my Indian contacts come from here. The other 10% come through global sources, which is this one, globalsources.com. That's where the other 10% come from. But India Mart, by far, the highest percentage of folks I get come through that. I find Indians in general more responsive to emails and faster to respond for quotes and things like that. And also I find them much more willing to negotiate minimum order quantities, much more willing to negotiate prices. So you get that too. And then one thing which takes a long time to get used to, but is part and parcel of their culture, you can't be kind of shitty about it, it's just part and parcel of their culture, is their willingness to say yes to things that they can't do. So their attitude is, we will say yes, and then we will do our best to figure out how to do that. So we'll say yes to win the business, and then we'll try and figure out a way to fulfill the thing we've agreed to do. So that's either going to really, really piss you off, or you'll commend the entrepreneurialism within it and just kind of, take it for what it is, which is just them trying to get the business and fulfill it as they go along, which is really what we do as well. Oftentimes we say yes, well I do anyway, say yes to things and then figure out how the hell I'm going to do it. I do that heaps. So there's some tips about India. Again, as things with this trade war escalate, again, escalations have been happening. Hopefully you are on Twitter and getting Trump's tweets. If you're not, you should be. You'll see that more's happening with that. He's just fired his guy who is his mediator globally for trade. He's just fired him. So that is going to be a shit fight. No doubt he'll bring in some complete bastard who's going to be much more harder. And if that happens, then things are only going to get worse for China and America, in which case places like India get much more appealing as a result of that. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales have used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.